In and out won't go. Rebound. Bearcats have upset the number 5 ranked parents of Whitworth University. Out to Eaglesmith. 2 ball or 3. Given 3. It's stolen away by Watts. He'll take it up and lay it up and down, and Watts extends the lead.
Bearcat Hoop Audio Series Season Preview 2019-20. That sounded weird, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
2020 sounds so far
See, I'm
away.
here with my junior class, and they're allowed to be more skeptical of me and give me sarcastic remarks, and apparently Justice portrays me really well as well. So I'm here with 5 of the 6. Will Huntington has a SAC meeting, so he's doing some leadership stuff for us along with Dylan Street. But I've got the other 5 members of the class. What are you guys, 2021?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
2020 is coming up.
It's
right?
less
So
far away than it was.
right?
Scary.
You guys are old men now. We'll get into that. Let's start here on the right side. Introduce yourself. Just remind everybody, number, where you're from, etc. Go.
Alec Barba, obviously a junior, number 12, and I'm from Dallas, Oregon.
Michael Fleming from Orland, California, point guard, number 3.
Justice Eaglesmith, number 20, from Genesee, California.
Ben Sutton, center, power forward, number 0 from Seattle, Washington.
Ryan Peterson, I'm obviously a junior, number 30 from Edmonds, Washington. I guess I'm a forward.
That's right. You
Yeah.
are. It's funny. They always ask me for position listings too on the program. They want your weights.
Yeah.
So what is an accurate weight for you? Start with
me?
Ryan.
Okay.
Start with Ryan.
I'm going to say about 210.
210. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
225.
225.
Dang. 180.
Okay.
150.
That's good. I thought if you said anything above 160, I was going to call you.
Yeah.
I was about to say you too, String Bean. Okay, let's start here. Let's start with a couple changes from. We'll get to everybody answering questions throughout, but these 2 specific. Micah, talk about being back from an injury, redshirt year. What it's been like for you back on the floor.
So I'm just super thankful. I know not playing, that was a super tough, time in my life. So the fact that I'm able to simply move my arm, lift my arm over my head, it definitely changed my perspective as far as just being thankful for having limbs for one, being able to pick up a cup, and so transferring that onto the basketball court.
Remind everybody, what was your injury that you had to have surgery on?
So I tore my labrum in my left shoulder, and the surgeon said it was the worst tear they'd ever seen. And so, shout out to them. Super grateful, for the surgeons. But I'm just overall more appreciative, just for daily things that I can do.
No, we're all glad to have you back as well. Benjamin, new number, went from 4 to the 0. Talk about the significance of 0 and expectations for yourself with it.
Yeah, 0, obviously a big number. Jordan Jenkins, former number 0.
Yep.
0 is the smallest number there is. But
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Go ahead.
There's going to be a lot of that. Cynical comeback. That's how it rolls.
We've had 3 years to figure it out.
Yeah.
Jordan Scoops, as he's lovingly known, 3-time MVP, and just, in my opinion, should have been Player of the Year in the NWC, National Player of the Year. But he's just a leader on and off the court, hard work, results, obviously just a bunch of success that comes with him. He's now, on the wall in our locker room. So to me, just, those are big shoes to fill, but just coming anywhere close to that in terms of my work ethic, how I play on the court, how I hold myself off the court, just to live up to that standard, because it's not just a number on the court. It kind of represents the history of.
Yeah, that's a great point. Obviously you detailed Jordan Jenkins, but if you look on our legacy walls, all the 0s are up there. Jordan, Bubba Ludke, Cameron Mitchell, Sean Dart. So it's big shoes to step into. You have big feet, so that you'll be fine. Rhino, first year as a captain.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
It's interesting. I have a newfound appreciation for you and your ability to coordinate a bunch of 19 to 21-year-olds. It's hard to get them motivated to do the same thing at the same time. But we have a great group of guys this year. a whole lot of buy-in, which has been really cool in terms of it doesn't matter what we're doing. We went to a team retreat, we played hide and go seek, and the whole team was like, "Yeah, let's do this."
Yes.
And we just jumped right into it. So based off that, I don't have any real concerns about needing to captain this team. I mean, the best teams sort of captain themselves and they self-regulate. Just being available as a resource for the new guys and for the returners to express concerns is kind of my biggest role right now. We'll see how that develops over the course of the season and if everyone stays happy. But right now it's been pretty manageable and pretty enjoyable.
Justice, same question.
You know, what Brian touched on was huge, and when I first found out I got the captain's position, I talked to Mike. I said, is there something that I think I need to step up and do more? He said, no, like, you got picked as a captain for a reason. Keep being yourself, and guys don't want to hear a guy yell at you trying to be something that he's not. Just be the same guy that you were and be a friend to everybody on the team, and it's been a great experience.
I think that's a very insightful comics. I think coaches fall into that trap too, where if I changed who I was every other day, like, oh, suddenly Kip's trying to be Bill Belichick out here or Popovich or whoever, you guys would sniff that out, and I think that's pretty it's common too for captains. Barbs, as a returner, expectations for yourself as a guy that's played a lot, made a lot of threes for us. Expectations for this group going into the year.
I expect us to compete with everybody. I feel like we're going to be one of the scrappier teams. I feel like we're also going to come out with a lot of energy every single night, and we're going to show it. People are going to hate to play us. Nobody's going to see us at the end of the year. As for myself, I think I just want to improve from what I did last year. I feel like this offseason I worked on a lot of my game, and like offensively and then defensively locking in more, being more disciplined on that end. And then, offensively, just keep hitting threes.
It's a tough job you two have. Take a lot of shots, make them. It's really hard. We'll start with Michael. Give everybody a chance to answer this. Biggest difference as a junior, even though eligibility-wise, it's a little different, but as a third-year guy in the program, what has been noticeable? It could be positives, too. It doesn't have to be like, oh, this is so difficult. What are differences as an upperclassman versus an underclassman?
Definitely. What I realized is, as an underclassman, I felt part of the team, but I didn't necessarily feel connected due to the seniors and juniors already understanding the Willamette culture, the basketball culture. I was trying to understand what the culture was, trying to see how guys' personalities match the mine. And so, as a junior now, knowing the guys' personalities, knowing the basketball culture, knowing the Willamette culture, I feel like I can finally call this place my home.
Mm-hmm.
So that comfortability, for me is the biggest notice.
For sure. Justice.
One thing, I'm going to try and make this quick so we can get to everybody, but one thing as an underclassman, you wake up, you go work out, you go to practice, and then if you really want to go forward with basketball, you work out again in the night. Now, when you get into a junior year and you move off campus, now you have to pay rent, and now you have to buy your own food because you're not on a meal plan. Yeah. So that is the biggest thing that I noticed is being very disciplined. You don't have much time for playing Grand Theft Auto online. It's time to be a big boy and go to work and pay rent, but make sure you spend that time for basketball.
The video game time is supposed to, I guess, decrease as you get older. I think when you're in your mid-20s, you can flip that script a little bit. But once you have kids, boys,
well, then it's a lot of telling your kids no video games.
Exactly, and then I go play the game on
Yeah, exactly.
Benjamin, same question.
I think kind of touching on one of the previous questions for the captains, all of us upperclassmen have to be a little bit more of leaders, and we got to step into that leadership role. And as an underclassman, if I didn't know something about a drill or about an offense we're running or a set play or something, I'd go and turn to one of the upperclassmen and go like, hey, by the way, during this part, what do I do?
What the hell are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. And now I have to be that upperclassman who says, look, here's what we're doing. So not only do you have to be able to just kind of be that source for someone, but you also have to have the knowledge behind it. So you gotta be even more focused, and experience lends itself to that. But just always staying on top of things and knowing what you're doing.
Rhino.
Yeah, kind of like Micah said, how as a freshman you feel like part of the team, but now you feel like more of a part of the team.
Mm-hmm.
As a junior, you feel like you are the team, and you dictate what our identity is and like how we're gonna play. Of course, you're limited by like the guys around you in terms of we can't go out there and throw to our 7-footers because we don't have a 7-footer. Exactly. Keep growing. Keep growing. Keep growing, Ben.
Keep growing.
But it's interesting. And the other thing for me is that sort of like when you come in as a freshman in high school and you look at the seniors, they look super old. And then once you're a senior, you're like, okay, we aren't actually that old.
Yeah.
It's the same way looking around the league right now. Like none of the other players in the league look really old to me anymore. None of them are that scary. They're just like basketball players. So that's been interesting to grow up along with the rest of the league.
Perception.
Yeah.
For sure. Barbs.
For me, my freshman year, I feel like I didn't really realize how much I relied on upperclassmen. Not so much like, yeah, the seniors, but more like the junior class.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I am upperclassman, it's kind of funny, like looking back, seeing all the freshmen ask me all these questions, like the little things about how things work around here. You know, our schedule, what drills, and all that stuff. I didn't really realize how much underclassmen relied on upperclassmen.
Right? And then you guys have like this institutional knowledge that they have no idea about. You didn't know you were like gathering throughout 2 years. Does that translate, Mike, do you think that translates to playing better? A comfortability you mentioned about feeling at home. You guys all kind of touched on, Ryan, I feel like physically capable compared to before. Does that lead hopefully to something on the floor?
Definitely. The fact that I do consider this my home, when you go to your house, that's when you should feel most comfortable to do whatever.
Yeah.
So when I step up on the court, that's like the kitchen. That's like the living room.
Mm-hmm.
I know people within the stands. I see people every day. The team, I consider them my brothers. So I'm basically in my element, and that translates to how I play.
Ben and Justice, take this one. When Division III is always a struggle because just the label to get people to come out, recognize what you guys are doing. Obviously, Coach, I have my tricks to try to get people to games. What do you tell people around campus? Why should they come see us?
People on campus, especially, we're part of the community, and I think. For the athletes, I mean, something like 25% quarter of this campus is in some kind of athletics. Like, we recognize that you're working hard for your sport. We're working hard for ours, and we're part of that community, and we want to show you support, so you can show us support. But also for people who maybe aren't part of that athletics community. It's still the Willamette community, even if it's not, on campus, but just around town even. If you love basketball, you're gonna love coming to these games. I mean, especially with, as you talked about, Justice and Barba throwing up 30-footers every other possession.
Yeah.
It's high intensity. We're not a team that likes to sit back and hold the ball for 30 seconds to the end of the shot clock. We're gonna put it up. We're gonna play fast, and it's high flying, exciting basketball. So,
Justice, is it different trying to drive interest living off campus compared to when you were in the dorms seeing people?
No, because I can't speak about other Division IIIs, but I can obviously speak about Willamette.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small school, and we see all these kids every day, and we talk to them, and who knows? When you come to a game, I might hit a three, I might point at you. Probably not. Kid will take me out of the game. But who knows?
Especially if you don't get back.
Right?
But on your way down on the leak, feel free to point at me.
So, it's just great community. We're studying and not together. I'm going to go play a sport. Come and watch. Like, it's a very close relationship. There's no separation between athletes and students. We're all the same.
Ryan and Barb's talk about, Ryan will probably lead this because Barba's height, I don't think you were scoring a lot of points with your height for Barba. But Ryan, I'll talk about, in the fall, I think we've been very active. You guys have done a great job of getting out to the other fall sports and seeing things. Do you expect that reciprocation from the others? Is that a conversation between teams?
Yeah, I think it is sort of I'll scratch your back, you scratch ours.
Yeah.
We go to football games, we go to volleyball games, we make a lot of noise, we make our presence felt. Sure. And I think that just the more you are visible at other sporting events, the more they see a basketball game, they think of you being at their respective sporting events, and they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll go to the basketball game. We'll watch them dunk during warm-ups. We'll watch them go have fun. We'll watch them go hit a bunch of threes. And it's not like it's like people stand at a soccer game for 45 minutes and see a goal, and people go to a basketball game and there's a point every other possession, basically.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more watchable. It's a lot exciting. It's indoors, which is a big one this time of year in Oregon.
Very true.
It's a good selling point. I don't know. What do you think, Mark?
Can't overestimate that.
Yeah.
I think
Just go ahead and slander soccer there.
Just quick. I did it again. I did it during the senior video too.
I think one thing I've seen is that when we go to other people's games, we make it look fun. And I think when the athletes, they see that, they're going to think, oh, it's kind of fun to go watch other people's games. Especially because, like what Just says, like I see everybody everybody on campus basically every single day that I'm here.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
that's a huge point there. Where Barbara vanishes to is going to be a 4-year investigation. So anybody that wants to field this first, feel free. What don't the freshmen know? And this can be a positive too. Like, it doesn't have to be like, Coach, they're idiots. They're 18. But think back to yourself, because we had them on last week, and the energy with freshmen is always through the roof. We're going to win the national title. We should never lose a game. And you like that. You need to inflect it. But what would you go back and tell your freshman self? Like, hey man, you got to get this one step at a time. Talk whoever wants to field this.
I'd say it's just like, they're not really aware of the length, not only the length, but just the constant, kind of like wear and tear you get over a season. And just, even if you're not playing a lot, you're still practicing, 5 days a week, 4 or 5 days a week. Along with academics, and it's a huge responsibility. So a lot of these guys come in. I know I did come in with a lot of energy, and then you get to the midway point of the season, and you almost like just. I remember vividly when we went to Whitworth my freshman year. I remember kind of having this energy. And then I almost felt like as soon as I got on the court, I just like ran straight into a wall, and just almost was like, I don't know what's going on. I just don't feel
Where's
right.
that?
So like that's real. So take care of your body. Don't obviously give 100% all the time, but recognize that you're gonna get tired.
Is that something other guys have figured out? Is it diet? Is it ice? Is it what is it stretching? What is some stuff you guys have learned to take care of? Because it is. I mean, you're playing double the games of high school most of the time.
Ice bath is huge.
Yeah,
Stretching.
For me, I feel like the most important thing is first take care of your mind. And that's just like from a human standpoint. If you can like first figure out the principles you want to live by, everything else will fall into place in the sense of, okay, I know what foods make my body feel good. I know what stretching routines make my my body feel good. And, so I would say just really focus on your mind and really focus on like who you are and who you want to grow into.
I think the biggest thing is sleep. I think that when you're
There's a big article on that in the NBA recently.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that depending on, it comes down to homework, which we're all going to have to do our homework. If you can get it done earlier in the day and have less stress and you can go to bed less stressed earlier, then you're going to play so much better the next day, whether it's practice. And it's more than just the night before the game. It's about building up to that in terms of having good repetitions in practice and understanding what you're doing. And then that is what translates to the game. And the other thing that the freshmen don't know is they don't know how long that bus ride is to Whitworth. Because it is
Some of
just
them will find out.
grueling.
Justice or Barb's, either one. When does the light go on, or when did it for you where you're like, man, this is a bad habit? Or what? It doesn't have to be like, I got to stop pounding 6-packs. So don't say that on the podcast. But like maybe I need, like you for Justice, like you got to go rest. You have to go, or Barb's, you got to eat, or you got to take care of your volt in season so your body doesn't wear down. When did that go on? What was the learning point?
So it's not. I was gonna say it's a funny story. It's really not. It's kind of sad. So like, I was this summer, the beginning of the summer, I was so motivated just to change and really improve. And I was looking up I read this book on Kobe, and I tried to give it to everybody on the team.
You texted me like 6 times.
Kobe ruined Jason Tatum, and now you.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. But some people are built different. You have to learn what works for you. And like Ryan just said, it's sleep. For me, I had to realize that I can get the same workouts in with not waking up at 5:30 in the morning. I can sleep till 10 and still work out.
Yeah.
Barbs?
One of the things I learned, I think it was my sophomore year, was that I live off campus.
Yeah.
So I live at home. And one of the things I learned was that I feel like it was always easier for me to just stop, get some fast food on the way home instead of making dinner at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Because that was always tough, and I didn't want to cook. We just had done a 2-hour practice. I didn't
Eat
do
a
that
Big
no
Mac
more.
and go to bed.
Yeah, it was so much easier to do that. But then I actually learned, I'm like, hey, what if I, meal prepped or something like that? And I did that, and my body just felt so much better. I had so much more energy. I just didn't get sick. My stomach was just completely changed, and so I think that was a huge difference for me, just diet-wise.
Yeah. We'll go reverse order, Ryan, all the way back through Barb's, and we'll wrap it up here. What should people expect from us? What do we expect from ourselves, results-wise?
Results-wise, I think they should expect us to fight. I think that you shouldn't expect to see any blowout games where you see a team quit, because that's just not who our team is. I think that from the first guy to the bottom of the depth chart, that every person, once they get on the floor, they're excited and they have something to contribute. And I think that we're going to run, and we're going to run, and we're going to run, and we're going to rebound as a team. And that's going to be a big thing, and that you can't beat us in a single matchup because the rest of us are helping.
Benjamin?
I think you should expect us to compete in the playoffs. If we don't expect that of ourselves, what are we doing here?
Justice?
Yeah, Coach Kip is a really good coach at using what tools he has in the toolbox and applying it the best to build the house. And what I mean by that is we're a different team this year, and we're going to be playing at a different pace, and Coach is definitely using that to the best of our ability.
Michael?
I would say expect to see the guards picking up full court. We got some scrappy freshmen, and just overall, we're all in the mindset of being aggressive. So yeah, definitely expect that.
Barbs?
Expect everyone to be hyped. Like Ryan was saying, from the top to the bottom, everybody wants to be in, so everybody's going to be competing, so everybody's going to be going as hard as they can.
Class of 2021. Thanks, fellas.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Driving dribble, one. Double clutches, left side Barber for three. Here's Sutton. Great move to the hoop. Spun, and he just schooled his defender.